especially as we step into a new week. Remember, like I mentioned at the top of this conversation, Monday represents a new opportunity with endless possibilities. In fact, there's blessings and there's opportunities with your name on it. And I believe it's very important for us to lead into this Monday with that understanding. You have an opportunity to move your life forward. You have an opportunity to scale your career. You have an opportunity to build that business. You have an opportunity to transform your health. You have an opportunity to become the best version of you. And right now is your moment. But what we don't want to do is get distracted by things that are attempting to rob us of our attention. We don't want to fall into the traps of our fears, our doubts, or our insecurities. We don't want to backpedal into our yesterdays, right? Into our past, into our trauma. But what we want to do is we want to be intentional about moving our lives forward. And again, I want to talk about 3 things that we can actively improve that will assist us in transforming our lives. To begin the conversation, if you would please comment below, transform my life. Let's make it personal. Transform my life. Because again, that's the goal. We don't want today to look like yesterday. We don't want this week to look like last week. We want to level up, right? Elevation is a must. That's my motto, which ultimately means every ceiling that we bust through becomes the floor to our next level. We got to scale. We have to evolve. We have to improve. We got to transform our lives. I see those comments coming in. Again, great day to you. Angel tapped in. Welcome to the broadcast. My beautiful, amazing wife. Excellent. Excellent. I see him coming in. So to begin this conversation, I think it's important for us to understand really how we can improve who we are becoming. That's what it's about, right? I don't want us to get into this trap where we're focused solely on what we are doing, right? Ultimately, we're aiming to become successful. We don't do success, we become successful. In other words, success is an inner process of becoming. Now, let me break down how we can improve who we are becoming. Let's keep in mind, it's what you do today, family, that determines who you are becoming. Now, who you become will always be influenced or always influence, the overall direction and the overall quality of your life. Now, let's keep in mind, if you're tuning into this conversation, I'm quite sure that's your objective. I want to improve the quality of the life that I'm experiencing, and I want to improve the direction that I'm taking my life. I want to make sure I'm taking my life towards my vision, my purpose, and my goals. So in order for us to better that process, right, in order for us to get to where we're aiming to be, we have to reverse engineer that formula. Again, it's what you do today that is determining who you are becoming, right? Now, how do we improve who we are becoming? I'm glad you asked that question, Yusuf. Here's how we improve who we are becoming each and every single day. We have to learn to become more mindful, building awareness around how we're showing up. Comment below, mindfulness. We have to become more aware of ultimately what's influencing us, right? What thought patterns are driving us, what emotional states we're in that influences how we show up, how we interact with others, and the decisions that we make in any given day. We want to build awareness around these areas, right? Gain an understanding of how you are showing up. Now, before I give us these 3 points, I want to make this statement, and I'm hoping that it resonates with somebody that may feel trapped, that may feel stuck. But as it relates to any person that's aiming to level up their life, anybody that's looking to transform their entire life, it's important for you to understand that you can always reinvent how you show up. No matter who you are, no matter what you've experienced, no matter what life currently looks like, you can always reinvent your life experience. If and only if we place direction and intention and focus around these 3 key areas. Number 1 is this. You want to focus on your overall mindset. Number 2, you want to focus on your daily habits. Then number 3, we want to place a focus around how we respond to life's challenges. how we respond to the adversity that we may face in any given day. Again, number one, place a focus and an emphasis around your overall mindset. I'll break these down here in a moment. Number two, our daily patterns, our daily habits, right? And number three, how you respond and navigate the challenges and adverse conditions that you find yourself in. Let's break down number one, our mindset, right? What you think about the most in your mind will eventually grow in your life. So as we're stepping into this Monday, right? Again, it's a week that is full of great and amazing opportunities, and many of them have your name on it. But in a lot of cases, we miss opportunities simply because our mindset isn't where it needs to be. A lot of times our mind can be hijacked by fear, by doubt, by discouragement, by depression, by anxiety, by any type of force that attempts to remove us from that state of excellence, so to speak, right? So as we're stepping into this Monday and this week's opportunities, here's what I challenge us to do. Decide the attitude that you're going to have. Because that's one thing that nothing can take away from you. Your ability to decide what energy you're going to represent, right? The level of enthusiasm that you bring to this day. You get to decide whether or not you're going to be inspired or whether or not you're going to be afraid and anxious. You get to make the conscious decision as to if you're going to give in to your circumstance or you're going to rise above the challenge that you're currently facing. It all boils down to ultimately what you decide to do. So therefore, we want to step into this Monday leading with successful intentions. Again, comment below that statement, successful intentions. That's our focus. Decide how you're going to show up. Decide, again, the energy that you're going to represent. And I encourage us, not just Monday, but every day this week. As you wake up in the morning, you make the conscious decision. Today, I'm going to be powerful. Today, I'm going to stay focused. Today, I'm going to continue to innovate. Today, I'm going to level up. Today, I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to lead with courage. Today, I'm going to step outside of my comfort zone. This is the mindset that I'm going to have. In the same way that you can unconsciously decide to be hopeless, helpless, and powerless, or maybe even depressed, you can also consciously decide, no, I'm going to stay determined. No, today I'm going to figure things out. No, today I'm not conforming to my environment. I'm not conforming to my problems and my challenges. I'm going to rise above what it is that I'm currently facing, and I'm going to be powerful. That's number one. Number two is this, again, our daily patterns, our habits. A mentor of mine once told me, if you ever want to change your life, you have to change what you do every single day. Change what you do consistently. Because keep in mind, what you do every once in a while isn't necessarily important. It's what you do on a consistent basis, right? Let's say, for instance, I have a personal goal to change my physique, right? To lose a few pounds or to get some gains, right? I want to get those muscles popping through my shirt. If I only go to the gym and train, so to speak, 1 or 2 days out the week, I may not get the results that I'm aiming for, right? But it's through that consistency, right? Those small daily steps accumulate and they add up. And what's happening is I develop patterns that are in sync with the life and the results that I'm aiming to create. So what I'm really saying in this conversation and using that example is begin to assess how you're showing up. Are there some habits that you've grown accustomed to that may be stunning your growth and preventing you from making progress, right? Because all of us want better, but for many people, they're not willing to be better. Most people are anxious to change their situations and circumstances, but unwilling to change themselves, right? And a part of change means, hey, I've got to do things differently. I may have to adopt a new pattern. I may have to change my habits. In essence, I want to align my habits and my daily actions with the life that I'm aiming to experience. In other words, your actions have to be as big as your ambitions. We can't just talk about it. We have to be about it. We can't just wish for it. We got to work for it. And the way that we work for it is actively aligning ourselves, again, both our mindset and the way that we show up through our actions with what it is that we're aiming to experience. So if we improve, again, what you do every single day, that will position you for new levels of success. It will position you for new opportunities. It will help you connect with people that are in sync with the life that you're aiming to create for yourself, simply because you become the very thing that you're aiming to attract. That's one thing I've learned about life, family. In life, we don't attract the things that we want. We attract the things that we are. So if you want it, then it's our personal responsibility to start reflecting the very thing that we're aiming to experience. And this requires us to step outside of our comfort zone, to change up, so to speak, what we're doing every single day. So again, number 2, if we can actively improve our habits, that will assist us in transforming our life. Number 3, and then we'll take it home. If we're still there, put a number 1 in the chat, family. Put some fist in the comments below. Let me know the connection is still good. Yusuf says, mindfulness. I see you, brother. Yeah, Mia, mindfulness. Sandra's in the building. Great day to you, sis. Welcome. Successful intentions. Absolutely, Mia. Small steps build momentum that can lead to consistency that gives results for sure. There we go. I see the fist coming up. Excellent, excellent. So again, 3 things that we can actively improve, that will assist us in transforming our lives. Number 1 is our mindset. Number 2 is our daily patterns. In other words, our habits. Then number 3, how you respond to adversity. Notice I use the word respond and not react. There's a distinct difference between the two of those. If I'm reacting, which many people do, if I react to a situation, what happens is I allow my emotions to make my decisions for me. How many of us have ever been there, right? You've been frustrated, you've been angry, you've been upset, you got discouraged, and before you know it, you made a decision that wasn't necessarily in alignment with what you were aiming to experience, right? Like you've been working towards this goal and you got discouraged or you got frustrated, and that frustration led you down this path. Not only were you feeling discouraged, but you felt defeated. And then you made a permanent decision that was based upon a temporary feeling, right? Simply because you reacted to the situation rather than responding to it. Well, D1, you told me what reacting is. What is responding? I'm glad you asked that question. All right. Here's how we respond, so to speak. When I respond to adversity, when I respond to a situation, I place mind over matter. In other words, I don't allow my emotions to overpower my intelligence. I don't allow my emotions to distort my vision, but I actively work through that emotion, right? I break down what I'm feeling. I don't reject it, right? I don't resist it. What I aim to resist will eventually persist. And in some cases, it may come back stronger. That's another conversation related to emotional intelligence, right? We don't have time to break that down now. But ultimately, what I'm saying is this. I'm aware that maybe I am frustrated. I'm consciously aware that I am feeling discouraged, but I don't allow that emotion to make a decision for me. Now I can actively break down, right, what I'm feeling. I can step away from this feeling and emotion, right? I can take an objective view of my subjective experience and say, hey, I'm feeling this way because this happened or this occurred or I'm not getting the result that I want. Now that I have this viewpoint, I can actively decide if I'm going to allow that emotion to drive me or I'm going to allow that emotion to be used in a productive manner, right? And I can rise above that and now make a conscious decision that keeps me in alignment with my vision, my purpose, and my goals. This is how we respond to life, respond to adversity rather than reacting to it. And the more and more you respond, you put yourself in position to reshape your life. In other words, the more and more you're in control of your inner world, your inner experience, this will position you to actively improve your outer world because you don't allow the emotional state that you are in, right, which is only temporary. Sometimes we get caught up into our emotions and we think this is how it is. It will always be this way. You're frustrated. You're discouraged. But you have to allow that emotion to pass and make a conscious decision to stay in alignment with where you're aiming to be. And when you do that, you won't make a permanent decision that's based upon a temporary feeling. No, you rise above that feeling and stay in alignment with where you're aiming to take your life. It's important, family, that we develop this critical thinking skill, so to speak, to begin to navigate those emotions that come with the journey, because it's all a part of the process. Whether you're building a business, scaling your career, improving the quality of your life, becoming a more effective leader, whatever your goal is, there's going to be setbacks. There's going to be moments of temporary defeat. There's going to be times of rejection. And those things come with different emotions that may not serve us in that moment very well. Of course, it's giving us information, but it's up to us to unpack that information productively and constructively and make a sound decision that keeps us in alignment with the life that we're aiming to create. I'm hoping that this is making sense. But ultimately, what I'm saying is, as we're stepping into this week's opportunities, if your goal is to transform your life, you can't give in to how you feel. Like, your feelings are often fickle. In a lot of cases, our feelings aren't necessarily the true representation of what's happening in the scenario that we're facing. Our feelings are a product of our perspective. Our feelings are a product of the meaning and the interpretation that we're attaching to the experience, which may be flawed, right? How many of us have ever looked at a situation, right, and we thought we knew what it was, but when we took a step back or we looked at it from a different angle, or someone came in and said, hey, no, you're missing this portion of the case, right, this portion of the scenario, and then you got a different perspective, and that gave you a different feeling. This is what I say when I'm saying don't react to situations this week. Instead, respond to them by mastering your mindset in those moments. And I get it. It's very challenging. It's very difficult, right? But just because it's difficult doesn't mean it's impossible. What I'm describing is us developing this skill of critical thinking to begin to decipher how you feel in certain situations and not being influenced by those emotions, but instead unpacking them productively and making decisions that keep you in alignment with your vision, your purpose, and your goals. And if we can do that, right? If we can do that, because again, every time you're aiming to level up, every time you're looking to scale, anytime you're looking to improve something, whether again, it's you, your business, your family, whatever you're aiming to improve, there will be challenges. There's going to be difficulties. But it goes back to that well-known quote, right? Life is 10% what happens and 90% what you do with what happens. And what you do with what happens is ultimately driven by what you decide in that moment. So as we step into this week's opportunities, here's the call to action. Number one, I challenge you every day this week as you start your day, set the tone for your mindset. Decide how you're going to show up. This is the energy that I'm going to represent. Like, this is the emotional state that I'm determined to be in. Granted, there's going to be things that attempt to knock me off course. But in those moments, I got to pivot. I got to recenter myself. There's going to be things that may attempt to distract me, right? Moments of temporary defeat, and here it is, you feel some type of way. I got to develop a practice or some type of system that brings me back to that mental state of encouragement, inspiration, and empowerment. The number two, assess your daily habits. What are you doing every single day? What's a part of your daily routine that may be stunning your growth or preventing you from making progress? Or dive it even deeper, right? What new habits can you adopt this week? Pick one habit. What habit can you adopt that's going to keep you in alignment with what it is that you're aiming to experience in life? And number three, be extremely intentional. In fact, be mindful of how you feel in any given moment. And be sure to respond to situations instead of reacting to them. Don't allow your emotions to overpower your intelligence. Don't allow your emotions to distort your vision and what you want for your life. Don't allow your discouragement to put you in this place where you feel hopeless and helpless. I challenge you to stay determined and continue to respond to life's adversities and respond in ways that keep you in alignment with your vision, your purpose, and your goals. Family, the goal as we step into this week is to become the type of person that is capable of consistently sustaining, thinking, believing, and behaving like the person that can achieve the results that you're aiming to experience. This is an identity shift that we're talking about, right? When you think on a new level, you have a belief system that operates on a new level. You move with conviction at a new level. You're in alignment with the life that you're aiming to create for yourself. This is how we transform the life that we live, right? This is how you build a new reality. In fact, this is how you reinvent how you show up. You making up your mind. This is the mindset that I'm going to have. I'm in control of the thoughts that influence me. I'm directing my thoughts towards what I want, not what I don't want. I'm going to align my actions and my daily patterns with the life that I'm aiming to create. I recognize this habit of procrastination, this habit of giving in to excuses, right? This habit of always doing what's easy and convenient in the moment isn't necessarily serving me. I'm going to adopt new habits. I'm going to start getting uncomfortable, right? Growing uncomfortable with being uncomfortable, so to speak. Or I said, no, growing comfortable with being uncomfortable, excuse me. I'm going to start doing things that keep me in alignment with what I'm aiming to experience. And I'm going to decide to consciously respond to adversity instead of reacting to it. We've said a lot during today's conversation, a lot during this conversation in this broadcast. But if you don't get anything else that I've talked about during this conversation, take this with you. Like I mentioned at the top of this conversation, you can always reinvent yourself. No matter who you are, what you've experienced, what life currently looks like, you can always reinvent yourself. But you have to place a focus around your mindset, your daily actions, and how you respond to adversity. If you slid into this broadcast and I was unable to give you a shout out, be sure to comment below. And if in fact this is your first time, or maybe your first time in a long time, put a number 1 in the chat and then place your first name afterward. And I'll be sure to shout you out before we wrap up today's conversation. Again, put a number 1 in the comments below if this is your first time, and then your first name afterward. Let me see here. Sandra, I see you in the building, sister. Getting glad to have you tapped in live. Procrastination is the thing. Here you sis. Also, family, if we have yet to connect on other social media platforms, let me put up my handles here on the screen. My handle is at D1Gibson, pretty much on all platforms, Instagram, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and then I'm also on LinkedIn if you guys are on that platform. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you yet to do so. Shout out to everybody watching this on YouTube. I've got my small business documentary series that will be launching in the coming weeks. Extremely excited about this project, and that is exclusively on YouTube, so be sure to tap in. Connect with me on that platform if you want to do so. Also, take advantage of all the free resources, family, that are available on the website. That's at elevationiswealth.com. My growth newsletter. I send out many strategies and personal development tools directly to your inbox. Check out the online store. And for those of us that are in the MindFit community, we have a session tomorrow evening. We're going to be diving into the topic of transformation, personal transformation. Can't wait to have this conversation. Let me put this back on the screen. Bear with me, y'all. Westside's own, everything you said was right on time this morning. Thank you for sure. Absolutely glad to have you tapped in. I'm grateful that today's conversation resonated with you. Yusuf says, thanks for your offering this AM. Appreciate it always, King. Absolutely. I appreciate your time. And you tapped into the broadcast. But again, family, like I was mentioning, this Tuesday in our MindFit community, I got so many screens. I got this connected to a display, so sometimes I lose the mouse and I don't know where it's at. There we are. But yes, this Tuesday evening in the MindFit community, I'm breaking down some practical things that we can begin to do to rewire our mind, right? Our beliefs, ultimately the values that are driving us on a day-to-day basis, the narrative that you have going on in your head. For many of us, right, it's not a lack of abilities, not a lack of skills, not a lack of experience, not even a lack of resources that's holding us back. But in a lot of cases, it's the voice in our head that's telling us that we're incapable, that we're not good enough, that we don't have what it takes. I want to break down how you can actively rewire your mind for success, for the life that you are aiming to experience. And this is not just inspiration. I'm a firm believer in many cases it's not a lack of inspiration, right? You don't need inspiration. You need systems that actually work. And in the MindFit community, we break down these systems and these tools and these practices that you can actively apply to your day-to-day life that will assist you in getting the results and the outcomes that you've been hoping and wishing and praying for, so to speak, right? It's all about personal transformation. So I say that to say, if you are interested, come join in on the conversation. Come connect with us in the MindFit community. You can tap in live during tomorrow's session. Enjoy the conversation. Bring your notepad or your journal. Take notes. Again, we're going to dive into some practical things that we can begin to do to actively rewire our mind, both consciously as well as subconsciously, right? Those beliefs that are operating undetected and unnoticed, how to become more aware of those beliefs and actively reframe them in a way that helps you stay in power. So to tap in, go to themindfitcommunity.com. Be sure to join the community. And again, we will be live tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is in Zoom, right? So it's not just us interacting in a chat, but you can actually be in real time, live. We see you on video, hear you on the microphone. You can ask questions as it relates to your personal journey and how you can actively apply them to what you are doing and what you're building. So definitely, it's a little more immersed, more in depth. So if you're interested, in that interactive style of coaching, and you're looking to level up, again, come join us tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With that being said, family, let's wrap this thing up because you have dreams to catch and success to create. So we all got to get busy being great on this wonderful Monday. Now, if you find yourself in a difficult situation or a challenging experience, just remember that this too shall pass. So be encouraged. Stick your head up. Stick your chest out. Make sure you're aware of today's opportunities. Don't allow your discouragement to blind you of what's possible. And what is possible is you rising above whatever you're currently facing. If nobody else tells you that they love you today, remember, D1 has nothing but love for each and every single one of you. With all of that being said, family, have a wonderful Monday. In fact, be effective, be successful, live with some passion, and most importantly, 3 pounds to your chest. 1, 2, 3. I challenge you, I encourage you to be powerful. We'll be back at it next week, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. In the meantime, peace.
I can hear the message loud and clear, I'm gonna make it. I can see my shot is here, so now I'm gonna take it. Gotta get up, get out, time to stand up, get loud, time to rise up off the floor. And I'm stronger than ever now, can't hold me down no more. I'm waking up, so I'ma do it right now.